meditate on this. The subconscious mind is like a black hole. It's a vacuum. It pulls in everything that crosses its path. The portals or gateways to the subconscious mind exist on the human body, in the human body. Some of them are called ears, some of them are called eyes. And you can receive certain signals and things and messages, etc., through these senses, through these tools for senses, sight, hearing, etc. But no matter what you do, no matter what you put in front of your ears, no matter what you put in front of your eyes, just understand that the subconscious mind is going to receive that, and it's going to be embedded within you in perpetuity. It's going to be with you forever. And the people in power know this. The ruling class know this, and they do a damn good job of putting things in there that are not going to lead to quality of thought. It's important that you take control of this and try to embed things with high quality of thought into your subconscious mind, so that when they come back to the surface, when they come back, they pop out on the other side, they're fruitful. The things that are good for you, things that lead to quality of thought. So try to embed good things in your subconscious mind. Now that we know we have to program the subconscious mind, do that consciously, the next question becomes, with what? I believe we need to start with music. Music is very natural. Everybody loves music. They're even treating dementia with music, because music can take you to the past, bring you to memories, the vibe. Everything is just seems to come into focus clearly. It's easily visualized when you put music and have a soundtrack to your life. And so what type of music do we listen to? You know, it's part of our daily ritual. It's part of our daily dealings in programming the subconscious mind. The type of music we listen to is very important. And think about quality of thought. Is your music going to nurture the idea of quality of thought? Or is it ratchet? Is it supremely ghetto? Is it trash? Or is it breathing life into you? Right? It's the difference between listening to, something that's promoting death as to something that's promoting life. Looking at some of the neurological effects that happen when you listen to certain types of music, nourishing the brain with that type of music. The TV shows you watch, the movies you watch. What type of shows do you watch, and how are you inspired by them? What are the images that are being implanted in your subconscious mind from the movies and TV and the media that you watch, from the things you watch on YouTube, etc., etc.? If you look at one of those controversial stories about TikTok, I said that Chinese people, or the Chinese Communist Party, whatever, has a different algorithm than the one for the Western nations. The one in the Western nations, the kids are watching videos that go viral, doing pranks and all types of silly stuff. And China's algorithm is showing kids completing puzzles and doing math. These are the things they're promoting because they understand the programming of the subconscious mind is very important for the future of your people and where they're going. So with that same concept in mind, what type of media are you always being influenced by? What type of media do you constantly force yourself to be influenced by? What if we saw images of love all the time instead of images of destruction, war, etc., etc.?
What type of media is Hotep Jesus influenced by?
I like the old stuff. I like the classics. Mostly written work, literature. That's the type of stuff I listen to. I listen to a lot of lectures. One of my favorite lecturers is John Henry Clark, Dr. Kaba Kamene. Those are like two of my faves. I like listening to scholarly work, scholarly teachers. I go to bed to to chess videos, but I also need some gangster in my life. You know, I'm not perfect, but I need some.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there, you understand? You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
So now everybody's a big fan of Argentina. Everybody is out here championing a new president because he said a bunch of things you like. Well, let's see if he passes the smell test. The Grift Report starts now.
2, 1, boom. Hotep Jesus.
Of all the Jesuses I know, he's the Hotepiest. Social scientist and YouTube host, Hotep Jesus.
How the fuck do you get a name like Hotep Jesus?
The one and only Hotep Jesus.
Ryan Sharp, better known to the world as Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus. Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Somebody said, what do you think you are, some kind of Hotep Jesus?
Ooh,
And I
that's
was
good.
Just like, ooh, that's sexy. Yes, I do think I'm Hotep Jesus.
What's up, people? Welcome to the Grift Report, live Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. I'm your host, the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Oh, this is a real Hotep brother.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics were as smart as Hotep Jesus. Because that guy, he really gets it. He knows how to boil it down.
Hey, Hotep to all the constituents of Hotepistan.
Hotep.
Shout out to my Hoteps in the chat. Yo, rumble down today. Rumble down today. Shout out to Champ. Just became a member. Appreciate you. Welcome. Welcome to the family. Staff Colonel, Sauce the Prophet. What up, man? Yeah, rumble's down. I don't know what happened. But rumble's down today. It is what it is, you know? Last week I was in a bit of a creative mindset. A couple of revelations hit me. And as these streams of consciousness were downloaded into my mind, I began to jot notes in my to-do app and turn them into an email. So 2 of them came to mind. I wrote down immediately when I got the inspiration, and one of them was sent out today. Through HotepJesus.com. Shout out to Hotep Nation. HotepJesus.com, where people sign up for my email newsletter. And I've decided to turn my email newsletter into a place where I provide motivation, positive thinking. I think that's the angle I want to take on my newsletter. So you guys want to subscribe, you go subscribe there at HotepJesus.com.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
So I got one more in a hopper from last week, and then as the rest of them come in through inspiration, I'll organically send them out. Speaking of big brain stuff, we do have a big brain Telegram group. Hit that link in the description box below to join our Telegram group. Over the weekend with some wonderful conversations around crypto scams and crypto adoption and various other topics. Don't want to spoil it, but if you guys want to join that conversation, it's absolutely free. It's also the waiting room for something new and great coming in the first quarter of 2024. So if you want in on that, go ahead and subscribe. Hit the Telegram button, link in the description box below. One of the mods will grab that and post it in the chat for you as well. Steph Colonel said today's email was heat. Yeah, it came straight from God, bro. Just came straight out the ethers. the ether spoke to me, and I was like, oh, wow, what a profound thought. And these thoughts don't come about as something I need to tell people. That's not usually what happens. Usually I'm contemplating my own trials and tribulations of my life, and then they turn into these philosophical catchphrases. And then I decide, wow, that's a pretty profound thought. Let's share that with people. So that's what I'm doing, sharing with people on hotepjesus.com, people that are part of my newsletter. So join there, and all great communications will happen and must happen through that channel, mostly because we can't rely on these algorithms. These algorithms like to censor and throttle and all types of other weird things. Speaking of which, it's time to take my mind pills, my focus pills. I forgot to do that. If you guys want to get access to that, QR code on the screen does work. Link in the description box below as well. It's going to apply a 30% discount at checkout. Now that that's out the way, let's hop into today's presentation. Strong Dad in the chat. What up, Strong Dad? Renee, what up, man? Kay sent me an interesting article today. We're going to look at that as well. Well, let's get into the talkings about what we're talking about. I hadn't thought about this previously. What to show on the screen. So I'll just show this on the screen instead. This probably makes the most sense. Be on your screen in a moment. There we go. Argentina's new hope, or is he a dope? Is he all that's cracked up to be? Many people rushed to the timeline to celebrate Javier Milei on his victory of becoming president of Argentina. I just find it interesting that people who have never heard of him before have turned into fans overnight. And obviously, because the grift was just too strong, they had to, right? This was trending, and it's like, oh my God, he's the Argentinian Trump. So everybody ran to the timeline. And when I saw the name, I was like, oh, yeah, I recognize this guy. I covered him some months back in regards to this election that they're having. So I had some familiarity with him. So I saw everybody grifting. I'm like, wait a second. I don't remember this guy being a good guy. I don't remember being a bad guy either. But I remember him being a good guy. I remember looking at his outlook and going, huh? I don't know about this. So let's dive into exactly what it is that I noticed. So right here, I posted, I said, Milei, Argentina's new president, could make USD the official currency of the country. If America moves to CBDC, Argentina may be forced to move to CBDC. And I grabbed this article here from something that I've covered in the past. It says a political ouster who ran on the promise to break the status quo. Milei's economic platform rested on the desire to dollarize the Argentinian economy. Dollarization means the country would give up the Argentine peso and use the US dollar as its currency. Now, he's ran on the platform of he hates central banks. Many people celebrate him as a Bitcoiner. And I think he's said some positive things about Bitcoin. So I don't want to detract from that. However, dollarizing your economy is not exactly a way to state that you don't like central banks. The United States dollar is run by a central bank, most notably called the Federal Reserve. So to me, what I saw was him basically selling the country to the United States of America. Now, is he literally selling the country to the United States of America? Yeah, I mean, technically he is, I guess. If you say, hey, we're going to use another country's currency, care not who makes its laws, Adam Weishaupt, allow me to make the currency. Allow me to dictate the currency, and I care not who make its laws. So in a way, it's, if he does decide to go through this decision, it'd be selling Argentina to America. Now, previously I was speaking about CBDCs. I mentioned how governments around the world are looking at CBDCs, even stable coins, as a means to draw more imaginary borders, these digital borders. Let's call them digital borders. I think I used that term before. To draw digital borders and draw an allegiance either to the west or to the east. On the east, you'll see, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, but on the east, you'll see Russia and China most notably. And on the west, obviously, the British Empire, including the United States of America. So this is how countries are choosing their allegiance based upon, are they going to dollarize? Are they going to join the euro? New story came out today. I should probably show this to you now. In regards to the euro dollar. Let me see if it's on Twitter. Germany, euro, digital. I think that's what the story was. Okay, somebody did cover it. There's a few people here that covered it. Let's put this up on the screen and I'll show you what I'm looking at here. All right, let's go with this first one. Kintaro says Germany's digital euro, a response to the BRICS currency challenge. So they're selling this as some, challenge to BRICS. Now, last time I checked, BRICS has not made a decision on establishing a BRICS currency. I believe it was Brazil. It was either Brazil or South Africa that were like, yo, we need to, create this currency. And Russia and China were like, I'm sitting on my hands. Mostly because Russia and China want to back their own currency. They want their currencies to be the BRICS currency. They want the BRICS countries to transact in the digital yuan and the digital ruble. So Germany, it says here, Germany, boasting the oldest private bank in the nation, is stepping into the realm of digital currency, potentially in response to the emerging BRICS currency. So it says here, former advisor to the Russian president confirmed earlier this month that the BRICS currency is almost ready for launch, with a possible debut on the 16th summit in 2024. So there's some new developments here in regards to BRICS. I did not see this pop up, but I'm going to have to put it on my radar now. This development coincides with Germany's idea of creating a digital euro to compete with other global currencies. However, the entire European Union isn't united in its digital currency venture. While some EU nations support the CBDC, others oppose the necessity of a digital currency, right? So we'll stop there and come back. So again, I just brought this up to show you how countries are creating these digital borders and these digital alliances with said world powers. So Milei is, and I'll show you this too, just so you don't, you're not relying on my tweet. But all you got to do is type in Milei dollarization. Let's bring this up on the screen. Okay. So here's one from Cato Institute, and it says here, Milei's remarkable victory in Argentina paves way for a dollar zone. Okay. Hold on. Ugh. All right, let's see what they got here. Milei plans to dollarize Argentina's economy and shut down a central bank. Dollarization is the best available means to bring inflation down to single digits rapidly and permanently. Granting the dollar legal tender also protects citizens' purchasing power by rendering the devaluation of a local currency vis-a-vis the dollar impossible. And they say Cato Institute says dollarization would be a magnificent achievement in and of itself. As the experience of Panama, Ecuador, and El Salvador shows, dollarized countries in Latin America enjoy lower interest rates. and longer loan periods for solvent private sector actors. Moreover, dollarization imposes a hard budget constraint on a local political class, thus providing an institutional curb on public spending that has been sorely lacking in Argentina. Dollarization is no silver bullet. It says here, it guarantees neither high levels of economic growth nor sound fiscal management. Nonetheless, granting the dollar legal tender does tame inflation and provide price stability, thus ushering in the basic conditions that Argentina's next government needs to implement other much needed supply side reforms. If carried out successfully, Argentina's dollarization can have consequences across Latin America. Since Panama, Ecuador, and El Salvador are relatively small countries, dollarization's success in the region has been mostly overlooked. Argentina, however, is a large and influential country. A dollarized Argentina would create an enlarged Latin American dollar zone that informally also includes Venezuela, a country that has become de facto dollarized. Okay? So he wants to dollarize their economy. So let's talk about the implications of that. So, as they said, it could bring some short-term stability to the country. Obviously, it's going to curb the inflation of the peso because their central bank has been absolutely irresponsible. And I guess the Federal Reserve has been more responsible. I guess you can confidently say that. But there's more to the story. Bitcoin Zay published this on his Twitter. Here's your boy, Javier Milei, World Economic Forum. He's also been criticized as being, let's see if we can find it here. Right here, somebody says Javier Milei is literally a TV celebrity that is a World Economic Forum affiliate. He's a mask-wearing Zionist who supports throwing money at Israel and Ukraine, and people think this is a win for anti-establishment leadership. Wake up. He's an obvious plant. So people are saying he's a plant. This person here, War Clandestine, says people think he's a plant. He said he's red pill. This guy said he's red pill. It's a net gain either way. Maybe. But the fact of the matter is he does support Ukraine. He does support Israel. He did mention that he wants to become Jewish. However, he has a problem with the Sabbath being on a Saturday. He says it's going to cause some troubles for him, whatever that may be. And then the World Economic Forum affiliation. So I'm going to ask the chat. Let's ask the chat. Is he a plant? Let's see what the chat says. We put the poll up over on YouTube. Again, Rumble's down. So you're joining us on YouTube today. I'd like to see what the chat says. For me, the red flag simply revolved around the fact that he said he hates central banks, but he wants to move to a dollar economy. And I'm just like, what? I'm like, what? Those two things contradict each other. They're just, you're like, oh, I hate central banks. No, you hate your central banks, but you don't hate central banks. You hate your central banks, but you don't hate central banks if you want to dollarize your economy. So let's speculate here. What could possibly go wrong or go right, I guess? So obviously, Argentina dollarizing is good for us Americans, right? It's affirming our currency. And and we discussed this in the past where I said, you know, people have said the dollar is dying. And I'm like, have you been paying attention to the news? The dollar ain't dying because countries are picking it up. And then with the issuance of a CBDC, even more are going to pick it up. And with the issuance of USDT and USDC and other stable coins alone. Matter of fact, what country was it? Hold on. Let me see. No, this is old. It was it Brazil? I think it was Brazil. Hold on. Okay, so it's mostly Latin America, and that's what I typed into the chat. But there are countries in Latin America that are using stable coins to transact. Right. So the dollar is strong. The dollar is becoming stronger with the help of, again, stable coins. So countries picking up the dollar, Argentina may be one. Now, so let's think about the implications for Milei and Argentina. Okay, so they want to dollarize. Fine, that can be done traditionally. Probably not a huge issue. Does the United States have the capital to carry the Argentina GDP? Does it have that capital? And these are questions because I just don't know the answer, right? Does the Treasury have to print more bonds to cover their economy? These are questions I have. Which leads me to the digital problem. When you think about the digital problem, maybe, just maybe, and we're going to get into another story today that ties into this, but maybe, just maybe, a CBDC well, let me rephrase that. Maybe it'll cause reason for a CBDC. Saying, look, we're picking up other countries' economies, et cetera, et cetera. This, along with other reasons, is why we need a CBDC. Right? So we're going to stop there because these stories are going to start to intertwine. I'm going to go cover some stories. I'm going to cover Cardi B, reparations for migrants. And then we're going to come back to this conversation a little bit later because it ties in with some other news, financial news that came out recently. So we're going to put a bookmark there, come back. Let's go to, hold on. Well, first, let me check on the poll. So the poll is saying 69% is saying he's a plant. Okay. So the rest there, 31% are saying no. Yeah, he's pumping Bitcoin. Yeah. Bitcoin's pumping as a result. Yeah. F Gun said, Hotep, it's called dollarization because most Argentinians saves in dollars. However, Milei wants free competition within the country. If you want to use Bitcoin in Argentina, you can do it. Yeah, absolutely. If you want to use dollars, euro, or other currencies, you are free to do so. Yeah. He also wants to make the dollar the official currency of the country and get rid of the peso. And that's the dollarization we're talking about. This is from his own words, right? So it's not only dollarization, but him actually saying he wants to replace the country's currency with the United States dollar. So they've said it through the term dollarization, and they've said it in plain English. Want to replace the peso with the dollar. Okay? Let's go to Cardi B. Pull this up on the screen. Let's see.
Angry bitch right now. I'm an angry ass bitch right now. I'm an angry bitch Y'all need to get in here, because I'm about to go off right now. Right now. Yeah, I'm about to go off right now. Come on in. Hold up. At schools, public libraries, and the police department. Y'all know I don't give a fuck about the cops, but like it is what it is. There's gonna be an $120 million budget cut with schools, with the libraries and the cops and the police department, and a $5 million budget cut in sanitation. Of a budget cut in sanitation, bitch, we're gonna be drowning with rats. We're going to be drowning in fucking rats. So we are going to be having a budget cut on these shits. Mind you, this is why I said this is why I'm telling y'all, I'm not this year. Don't fucking ask me. I don't give a fuck the resume that they send. I don't give a fuck. I'm not endorsing no fucking presidents no more. Because how is there a $100 million budget cut in New York City for fucking schools, library, police safety, and sanitation? Yeah, Joe Biden's talking about, like, yeah, we could fund 2 wars. We could fund 2 wars. Motherfuckers talking about we don't got it, but we got it. Like, we're the greatest nation. No, the fuck we're not. We're going through some shit right now. Like, say it. Say it. We're really going through, we really are fucked right now.
She's so damn cute. Sorry.
$120 million. Like, where these kids are gonna go? Like, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I'm whatever the fuck. But like, what's gonna happen to my nieces? What's gonna happen to my nephews? What's gonna happen to my cousins, my aunts, my friends? That's living in the hood. Fuck the hood. Like, my shit. Like, I don't give a fuck if I live in Jersey, bitch. I'm from the Bronx. I don't want to see my shit affected. The Bronx, Brooklyn.
Oh, she live in Jersey. Well, most of these people do have houses in Jersey.
It's gonna affect the whole New York. 120 million.
So everybody's up in arms saying, "Oh wow, Cardi B, she's not supporting the Democrats this time around, and let's celebrate and yeehaw and all of that good stuff." Which is the other side of all of this, right? Because when we talk about Democrats and who they choose to speak for the black community, they go grab people like Cardi B to speak for us, and not exactly people who made their career off of intellectual matters and publishing intellectual matters. So when she says this and then the right applauds, I'm like, I thought y'all didn't care about rappers and celebrities and stuff, but being that they're so desperate for a win, they celebrate people like Milei, they celebrate people like Cardi B, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I can't really rate Cardi B on this decision. I mean, New York's handling of their budget, the amount of times they've gotten bailed out, or I should say the amount of money they've gotten bailed out from Washington, D.C. is more alarming than anything. So she's just now finding out about these budget cuts. The interesting thing about these budget cuts is the amount of migrants coming in. So they're taking away from schools and sanitation and police. Meanwhile, the migrants are coming in, which is... I'm going to have to shut my phone off. It's doing some funky thing again. So what do you do about the migrants? Like how do you manage that crisis at the same time? And we're going to get into the migrants too, because Biden has made some remarks recently. But again, I don't really care what Cardi B has to say. Cardi B doesn't move the needle. But when you combine this with Sexy Red, with the new Argentinian president and other stories, this supports our argument of the hard swing to the right. It's a hard swing to the right happening. It's eerie for me because I don't know how much of it is organic and how much of it is planned. It feels very transitional, and perhaps the left has gotten too big. the powers that be are balancing the powers, and the pendulum swinging back to the right, which many people will celebrate. But I can't celebrate that. I can't celebrate this swing to the right because I know what it was like to be black, expect a world from Barack Obama, and get nothing in return. It lulls your people to sleep. You think you're getting victories, you think you're making strides, and you stop doing the work. That's what happened to the black community. A lot of work was happening in the black community, building up the GDP and GNP of the black community, the culture, and there's a lot of cultural shifts that were happening pre-Obama. And then Obama came in and everyone sort of fell asleep. So this hard swing to the right not only is going to lull people to sleep, but also it opens up room for plants, controlled opposition. But this is just another event. There's more to come. There's more to come to show this hard swing to the right. So look out for it. But be easy on your celebrations. Be easy on your celebrations because this could also be a trap. It could be a voting trap where the right believes there's so much swing to their side that they don't get out and vote next year. Right? They don't get out and hit the polls and do all the ballot harvesting or whatever it is they're supposed to do. Registrations. Because they think, oh, we got this one in the bag. And then at the last minute, the Democrats win. And we get another 4 years of Biden. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I'm not exactly sure what to expect. But again, I just cannot celebrate the hard swing to the right because it smells like controlled opposition. Again, all the stories today intersect. So let's go to the next one. So here we have, put this on your screen, good. All right. November 17th, remarks by President Biden and President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador of Mexico before bilateral meeting, right? This is published November 17th, just 3 days ago. This is at the Moscow Convention Center, San Francisco, California, right in the line with APEC. You know what it says in here? Together, we're taking a balanced approach that lies at the heart of the Los Angeles Declaration on Migration and Protection, and we and 19 other nations have signed on to that agreement. So it includes enforcing our borders, increasing reparations, and opening a historic number of legal pathways for migrants. Real quick, shout out to Kay. Kay brought this to my attention this morning by way of Angela Stanton King. Angela Stanton King posted this on her Instagram. And the reparationists are going to be up in arms when they find out about this. All the people, all the freedmen, all the FBAs and ADOS and all the people that want reparations are going to be sick to their stomach when they find out that migrants are being promised reparations. So, where we have a growing crisis amongst veterans, homelessness, war, money going to the war cause in the Middle East, the war cause in Russia and Ukraine, more money is being cut in the name of reparations. So my question is to the people that are anti-reparations, where's the chatter about this? Where is the chatter about this? Who's going to say no reparations for migrants? I want to see that. I want to see somebody pull that out and say it. Just putting that on your desk. You guys can peruse and discuss that amongst yourselves. Share that with your family, friends, in a timeline. See what people are saying. Let's go to the next clip. Actually, let's not go to that clip. First, let's go to this story. This is a very interesting story. So Sam Altman, founder, leader of OpenAI, OpenAI's ChatGPT, backed by Microsoft and others, pretty much the number one AI company in the world. Looks like Sam Altman was ousted. So this lady here, GRD Ector, says, number one, Sam was unexpectedly removed as CEO of OpenAI. Number two, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella was furious, having been blindsided and informed only minutes before the news went public. The OpenAI board considers reinstating Sam as CEO. The OpenAI board contemplates stepping down and resigning, missing a deadline and resulting in numerous OpenAI employees resigning. Sam ultimately doesn't return to OpenAI. Instead, Microsoft hires him to lead a new advanced AI research team. Sam and his team successfully recruit 3 scientists from OpenAI. So, this morning, I opened up my ChatGPT, attempting to create some artwork, and the desktop version wasn't working. Now, the mobile version was working, but the desktop version was not functioning. And I'll show you that here. If you look right here, you check the down detector, and you can see this morning, right around the time I was working on this, you see a lot of outage reports for ChatGPT. Naturally, when you get rid of somebody so crucial to your company, an outage could happen, especially when 75% of the staff say they're walking with this guy. They're leaving OpenAI and they're going to Microsoft. So what does this mean? This means that pretty much, I guess what it means is I'm going to have to cancel my ChatGPT membership. I am a member of the ChatGPT 4 program, subscription, whatever. So I'm probably going to cancel it soon. And Microsoft is going to become the new AI giant. That's kind of scary. Although, I mean, they were pretty much involved with OpenAI anyway. But Microsoft is now the new juggernaut when it comes to AI. So that's what you should expect going forward. Google has a project they're working on. I can't remember the name of it. I kind of looked at it. But obviously they have Bard, but they have another one coming out. And this one is supposed to make everything pale in comparison. So this morning I had to use Bard instead to do a little bit of work, basically as an assistant, because ChatGPT was down. I kind of suspected this when I got the news. I'm like, is ChatGPT going to work if all the devs run out and follow Sam? It's a bit concerned, and sure enough, we had problems. Now, Rumble is down. People are saying Rumble is down. People added me. They said they are experiencing a DDoS attack. Let's see if we can take a look at that. So right here, Rumble official account says update. We are currently experiencing a major DDoS attack. Our engineers are investigating, and we will report back here with updates. So who is? Well, first of all, why wasn't Rumble ready for a DDoS attack? Did they not invest in cybersecurity? Or is a DDoS attack something that you just can't get around? I need somebody with a tech experience background to tell me the answers to this. But from my experience, you could use various services. I know Cloudflare has a service that prevents DDoS attacks. And I'm sure you can probably build a proprietary one to handle that. You said Rumble is back up for now, at least? Okay, so Rumble's back. I'm not going to be setting up a stream. They just, whatever. So yeah, I don't understand why they weren't ready for a DDoS attack for a company who is, in the limelight for being, anti-establishment, quote unquote, free speech advocate, bucking against the machine. At the very least, you should be ready for a DDoS attack. Kay says Rumble is still down for her. Okay, so it's still down. And we'll have to wait for, I mean, I can go to rumble.com. I cannot like create a stream though. I get this weird message. Let me see if I can show you. So here I just typed in rumble.com and as you can see, it's hanging. It's just not loading. So yeah. All right. So now we get it there. So now I'm going to go here and hit go live and see what happens when I hit go live. It's hanging, moving quite slow. And we get this. We get this message right here. It says 500 servers unavailable. So I can't go live on Rumble. Rumble is not functioning. Okay. So there's that. So a lot of shifts happening. Events, calamitous events are occurring in the tech world, moving around of things. So keep your eye open as we update you on this news, because I'm quite fascinated to see. Because I know Microsoft was working on, they had the Bing AI. So now with Sam over there, like, are they going to create a new AI brand? Are they going to, plug this into Bing? It's going to be interesting to see what happens over there. Anyway, we are going to go to the phone lines in a little bit. Text Hotep in your name to 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. And we will take phone calls in about 19 minutes here. In the meantime, between time, let's go to the big brain update of the day. Let's tie this back to Argentina's president. But first, shout out to Syscoin. Big brain update of the day, sponsored by Syscoin. So for months now, we've been talking about financial inclusion and them using financial inclusion to sell the public on CBDCs. We've talked about Ripple being the backbone to many CBDCs. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. CBDCs in general during our CBDC update. But over the weekend, I was doing my research and I ran across this video and I said, oh, wow, this is quite convenient. So I didn't publish this weekend. I said, I'm going to save this for Monday. Mostly because I tried to rip the video to my phone and none of the apps were working. So I was like, I'll just wait to get to my computer on Monday and then we'll cover it then. So that's what I did. So I ripped the video, I reposted it, and let's see what he has to say. Keep in mind, there is a short. I did a short on this. Should be coming soon. Waiting on my editor guy to patch it up. If I can turn my phone back on. But let's go to the tape. See what he says about financial inclusion. Now, this gentleman speaking here is James Wallace. He's the VP of Central Bank Engagements for Ripple. Okay, let's go to the tape.
So how do I boil down, years of people trying to fix financial inclusion down into 1 minute? I'm going to try. Hi, my name is James Wallace, and this is Crypto in a Minute. Firstly, what does financial inclusion mean? Financial inclusion means that there are people all around the world, from the US to Africa to Asia, all over, that do not get access to financial services like other people. And the reason is twofold. One is they typically have a very low income and they have no arrangement or no relationship already with a financial institution, so they have no credit history. And secondly, that the banks that serve...
So basically they're not participating in the game.
In those countries, those are commercial organizations and they have shareholders that they have to be responsive to. And it's very difficult to make money out of people that have no money, right? It's a bit of a conundrum. However, with CBDCs, we can fix that out of people that have no...
Everybody heard that? Did everybody hear that? Loud and clear? Let's play that back one more time for you.
To make money out of people that have no money, be responsive to, and it's very difficult to make money out of people that have no money.
They say it in the quiet part out loud. It's very hard to make money off of people who have no money. So how do you fix that?
Right, it's a bit of a conundrum. However, with CBDCs, we can fix that.
Another Hotep's been told you moment.
I wish all the black people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the white people were as smart as Hotep Jesus. And I wish all the Hispanics were as smart as Hotep Jesus. Because that guy, he really gets it. He knows how to boil it down.
CBDCs are very low cost and can allow financial services to be provided on a much, much lower cost basis than you do today.
So he tells you about financial inclusion, but he basically says, oh, you know, this isn't about it's not about financial inclusion. It's about the fact that people can't make money off of poor people.
So that will enable people to have simple payment opportunities. It will allow people to build up some credit history and have the ability to
build up credit history, aka borrow money. Join the game. Play the banking game.
Borrow some money so they can grow their business. The ability to borrow some money so they can grow their business. I could go on and on and on about this, but I see that I'm up with my 60 seconds, so let's call it a day.
Now, let's travel down memory lane. Let's see if we can find it. Hold on. It should be in my highlights section. I think that's the one. Yeah, that's the one right here. Kanye was right. We're about to get a bunch of new slaves. The IMF and many other financial institutions keep pushing for financial inclusion. And after further thought, I realized that's exactly what this is. New slaves. Essentially what happens is this. When you add people to the CBDC system, it increases surveillance. The government, Big Brother, is watching you. In addition, it increases their tax base. The more people that they can track, the more transactions they can track, the more people paying taxes. This right here is not financial inclusion. This is a new form of slavery. Subscribe for more. So as you can see, I published this short October 18th. A month later, we get the video from Ripple talking about financial inclusion, basically saying this is about the fact that banks can't make money off of people. Yeah, they're not hiding it anymore. In the Telegram chat, at the beginning of this month in the Telegram group, I basically put out the warning that Ripple is going to be backing central banks, and it's not exactly new information, but if you weren't privy, you got it in this month's update. So that's a Telegram group. If you want to stay up to date on all my happenings and findings that I don't share everywhere else, join a Telegram group. Join a Telegram group. Link is in the description box below for that big brain, big bank, big crypto talk. Let's go back. So now we want to get into our CBDC update of the day. Tie it back to your boy. You guys love this Milei guy. Let's take a look at the CBDC update of the day. Here we go. Okay. So Kazakhstan Eurasian Bank launches a digital Tenge card with MasterCard. Now, this is an interesting story because this technology converts to traditional currency for in-store and online transactions. It's basically saying CBDC is interoperable with traditional banking practices, traditional digital money. So new digital money compatible with old digital money. So you don't have to do anything. You don't have to, this is MasterCard that has done this. MasterCard's working with Hong Kong and others as well. But when we talk about the CBDC rollout, you don't have to change your habits. They're attaching this stuff to the chip in your cards. It's going to be in your phone and various other places. But this is a seamless transition. Seamless transition. So that's Kazakhstan. China and Saudi Arabia, this isn't CBDC related, but it's central bank related. China and Saudi Arabia signed a currency swap agreement worth 50 billion yuan or 6.93 billion United States dollars and 26 billion Saudi riyals. So they're doing a currency swap. And again, as we move to creating these digital borders around currencies, the East is strengthening their currencies. And obviously, this is a move to strengthen the currencies of both Saudi Arabia and China. So keep a lookout for that alliance. I believe China has already done cross-border swaps with, well, it was with the UAE, right? And I believe that was for oil, and they did that with a wholesale CBDC. So China's making inroads with the UAE. It's going to be very funny how the UAE is sort of like almost a neutral player in the East versus West beef. Because it's like East versus West, and it's like East versus West, then there's the UAE, right? And then there's, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, and, just the Arab world in general, I guess. And they're doing business with everybody. I mean, everybody's doing business with everybody, but Saudi Arabia is doing indiscriminate business with everybody. Very interesting. Also in this, I linked to the James Wallace. We just looked at that video from Ripple, so the YouTube link is there as well. But here's where I want to focus our attention today. Very interesting development came out of finbold.com. It says macroeconomics expert predicts date for banking sector collapse in CBDC links. Now, some of my predictions have been proven true in this article. So let's just scroll down. So first of all, he predicts that the great collapse is going to come March of 2024. I don't know. Maybe. I can't say I agree nor disagree because I just don't know. Like, it could come that fast. It could become an issue moving into elections. It could be something to divert people's attention, or it could happen quietly. But there's a lot of shakeups happening in regard to banks. But anyway, I want to focus on something else in this article. It says under this section, possible CBDC implementation. And this has been published on my locals. Here, I'll show you. So my locals I worked on or finished working on this over the weekend. I promised you a CBDC resource guide. I sat down for a few hours on Saturday and completed it. And at this point, it's a working document. So as I get updates, as you can see here, I made an update this morning, and I'll continue to do this. I'll continue to tell you when I update and what section I update with the date. So this morning I updated the financial inclusion section with the James Wallace, and then the commercial bank section with the article that we're going over today. But this is a glimpse at the CBDC resource guide, and it comes with all the details you need to know about CBDC. So if you join my locals, you get access to that. And also each section is referenced and linked, right? So you can go, so like this story right here, I linked to. City develops new digital asset capabilities for institutional clients, So, yeah, so everything's sourced and linked. And I did that as a way to make sure when we're tracking the CBDC, we have references. So, for example, it's going to help me in debates anytime somebody wants to debate this stuff, because now I have bookmarked someplace all the articles with all the concerns from adoption to financial inclusion to what's happening in Congress, and we can track it in real life and bookmark everything there. And also will help you when you're trying to educate people on this. You'll have access to this, and then you can tell people, look, this is what's happening. This is what has happened. And that's why the links are so important, to show people the precedents of this stuff being rolled out and how it's affecting other countries and their economies respectively. So that's on my locals. Let's go back. So what does he say here? And you'll see something very similar or familiar. My bad. I'm looking at the chat. Okay. He said they figured out how to make money off people that have no money. Yeah, exactly. And then called it financial inclusion. So this should be familiar, right? Because it says at the same time, he pointed out that a banking crisis could prompt the Federal Reserve to produce or introduce a CBDC. That is something we discussed on this channel. We said, yo, the banking crisis is going to be the thing that pushes us to a CBDC, right? Or one of the things, but I think it's going to be the main thing, right? It continues, it says, with its potential for a recession and broader implications. It says, in this scenario, the consolidation of all banks, possibly under JP Morgan. Who been told you that?
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
Who been told you that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you didn't have to be an absolute genius to understand this stuff. All you had to do is read my book, The Patriot Report, Unmasking the Conspiracy of Money and War. Go get your copy right now, HotepJesus.com.
Hotep, you're a genius. HotepJesus.com.
So you didn't exactly have to be a genius to figure this stuff. You just need to be informed. So we were talking about this before, and I was trying to figure out what banks are going to survive. And we know that SVB went down this year. First Republic went down, and various other, I think it was like 5 major banks went down this year. And mostly because they had exposure to long-term bonds, but they should have had exposure to short-term bonds. And they told them that having short-term bonds wasn't a good idea. It's better to go long-term. And that backfired because the Fed raised interest rates. So you can speculate on if that was on purpose or not, but that's the way the events went down. However, JP Morgan, being the largest financial institution on the planet. By the way, they're doing up to, I think they're about to eclipse 10 billion. Is it 10 billion? Let's take a look at it. Here we go. Let's pull this up. So JPM coin, remember I told you it was doing $1 billion a day? It's now doing I told you before it was doing $1 billion a day. Now it's doing 10 billion. It's moving to 10 billion now through JPM coin. The JPM coin has already moved to digital money, digital currency. And they say within the next year or two, they could be doing up to 10 billion. So JPM being the big giant they are, JP Morgan being the guy who hosted the Jekyll Island meeting to create the Federal Reserve, it only makes sense that they would be the ones to gobble up all the failed banks, as this macroeconomist has stated. And I follow this guy. His name is George Gammon. I gave him a follow after reading this article. And looking at his Twitter account, it seems like a really good follow. He seems like he's on the freedom side of things, right? More moderate right-winger, I guess you can say. So, again, First Republic, Signature Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, BTFP, all the banks that collapsed this year. And you'll see here, or maybe it's not here, but hold on. Might be in another article. All right, let's read this next section because this next session's funny. But what I was going to say is these banks, many of the assets are gobbled up by JPM and others. So it says here, recognizing the Fed as a private corporation with its shareholders being the banks in its network, Gammon suggested a potential consolidation strategy. He said, if only one bank remains, it effectively owns the Fed. continues. He said the Fed's incentive lies in ceasing existing funding programs, causing multiple bank collapses, and streamlining the banking sector. This process brings the CBD implementation closer. The expert noted this isn't a definitive prediction, but a potential scenario emphasizing the intricate factors influencing the Fed's decision on the banking crisis and CBDC introduction. Now, I ain't no macroeconomist, but I could have told you this was going to happen. So the fact that a macroeconomist, a macroeconomics expert says this makes me feel a little bit reassured that I know what I'm talking about here. So this is our future under the rule of JPM. Circling back to Milei. Milei wants to dollarize the economy, replace the peso with the dollar. But if the dollar is run by the Fed and JPM effectively owns the Fed after a potential banking collapse, then JPM owns Argentina. Let's go to the phone lines. 202-596-5631, 202-596-5631. And I'll be right back after this short, brief commercial break.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How am I supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there, you understand?
You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.
Goldstein on the check-in. What up, Goldstein?
What's happening?
What's happening, man? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday to you, man. Watching motherfuckers elect their version of Donald Trump is a trip.
What do you think about that? What do you make of this guy?
Look, you got Trump, you got Boris Johnson with his weird shit. You got this nigga now, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the hairpiece. It's all in the hairpiece, bro.
You're saying there's some sort of symbol by their hair.
Yes. Look, all the way back to Dolph himself. Yeah. It's all in the hairpiece, man. I think what they want is they want people to accept some sort of eccentric aesthetic, so that way people will somewhat forgive their outlandish beliefs. You know, so you got to have the package match up with whatever bullshit it is they're trying to push at the same time.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, you know, these dudes come in talking about we're shaking things up. So they're coming in with a new stream of thought, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have to look the part. So the easiest way to make it look like they're some type of maybe eccentric genius is to give them a crazy-ass hairpiece. This is the same shit they do in movie roles. You look at all the weird scientists and shit that always, like, come out and help the fucking protagonist save the day. They always got weird hairpieces.
They do it in the music industry, too.
Yeah. Speaking of which,
speaking of which, go ahead.
Cardi B.
Yeah. How about that?
Niggas, they ain't tired of this shit yet? They ain't tired of this yet? Come on, man. Come on. Listen, I will say this much. If you want to be more effective in your messaging when you're trying to pimp an idea to a certain people, it's always better to pick the best and brightest amongst them.
Yeah.
So had that been Cornel West or some goddamn body, well, he's running for president, but somebody on that level, they actually probably would have won me over. Probably.
Had they been an intellectual.
Right. But Cardi B, again, they dust this bitch off whenever they need her for whatever specific task they need her for, like any good hooker. But damn, Cardi B, come on, man.
So you think she got set up?
Nah, she ain't get set up. That bitch is as big a plant as the Argentinian nigga. That bitch is a plant, bro. They run her ass out there and say some shit. You know, and listen, I'm of the impression now at this point that bitch is MIT level smart. But this is just the role she's playing.
I think she is pretty brilliant. I would agree with that.
I think they run her ass out there and play this part, but this bitch, you probably sit down with this bitch one-on-one, she ain't even got a Puerto Rican accent, nigga.
Sound like she came straight out of Oxford.
Yeah, that bitch is probably British in a motherfucker.
You know, when I first watched the video, the first thing I thought was somebody fed her some info. Initially, I thought it was a concerned mom or somebody in her network, you know, fed her some info and pressured her into saying something.
Yeah.
Now you got me thinking, you know, these were instructions, right? These were instructions for her to carry out, right? To, again, sway the voters in the next election, particularly those of the hip hop community and anybody affected to the adjacent communities. But it didn't seem like she was reading the news and came across this. It seemed like somebody sent her some information and was like, Cardi B, why are you not talking about this? Because in the beginning of the video, you kind of tell she don't know what she's talking about. You can tell she just got some information, and then her coming on live in her wardrobe, her robe and her bonnet, you know, as if this was like so urgent, right? Yeah. So that was the initial thing I got. So maybe this is, you know, maybe that person that I was thinking about is some government entity or agency entity.
Look, and one of the things that always kind of clue me in to the fuckery is, like you said, she comes on screen dressed like Donetta and him, right?
Yeah.
So we already know who she's trying to talk to, right? Right. Definitely wasn't white America, because she's not going to come on there talking to white America like that. We've already seen that, you know. Otherwise, she would have went dressed just like that to the White House. Right. But nevertheless, the main thing that I always see is when a celebrity of her ilk comes online and gets to talking about we. Anytime they get to talking about we, bitch, for one, you don't even live in New York. All right. So when you sitting there talking about what New York's going through and you referring to it as we finna be infested with rats, bitch. You ain't seen a rat since before that P. Diddy show. That bitch, yeah. Get your ass up out of here. So that's always the biggest motherfucking red flag to me when anytime a celebrity, and I'm not talking about just any celebrity, I'm talking about celebrities of her stature, because contrary to popular belief, Cardi B is up there.
Yes, she is.
It may not seem like that, but she is.
Yeah.
It's a whole different thing when, like, I don't know, one of them other off-brand ass broads is saying some shit, right? But when a Cardi B says some shit and they sitting there talking about we, you ain't been a we in over a decade. And that's always a red flag to me, like I said, that you on some bullshit, that you trying to sell some shit to the masses on the behest of your motherfucking handlers. Weed.
Yeah. I would like to push back, though. I don't think she's a plant. I think she's just too busy to pay attention. And I think this story was something that she got pressured into saying. But I would not completely throw out your theory, because we need that, right? Stretches the boundaries of our brains and our minds and our thoughts. So I don't want to completely dismiss it, but I do want to provide some balance to the outlook and say, you know, my initial reaction was somebody was like, yo, why you ain't talking about this? Go talk about this. And that person may be somebody that's close to her or not close to her, but that could be the plant. The person who made her talk about this could be the plant, right? So either she's the plant or the person who gave her this information and told her, you got to talk about this, is the plant.
Yeah.
And then the proliferation and promotion of that video also could be part of the plan.
Well, my rational mind will tell me something along those lines, but more along the line of you are the talent and you kind of do what the fuck we say if we're the agent, right?
Yes.
And so I could easily see this being along the lines of, you know, her agents and her handlers and her lawyers and all those people who run the Cardi B empire.
Yeah.
Are smart enough to understand which way the pendulum is swinging, and they want their artist at the
on the right side of it,
kind of like the best, the first in best dressed type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like get ahead of this thing. Let's get you on the right side of this swing, and that way we can continue to milk your ass for another 10 years for that paycheck because you maintain relevancy in that manner.
Because you called it straight, because you called it right. What do you think about this whole swing to the right? Because we've been talking about this for a few weeks now. Now we got Milei out here. We got the Cardi B story and other, you know, things happening as far as a swing to the right. Obviously, the poll numbers for Trump. But how do you think Milei plays into this whole swing to the right and people championing him? You got the libertarians buying him. Any new revelations on this swing to the right for you?
Not really. I've been saying shit since I've been back on Twitter. Almost a year now. Been saying like, yo, this is what's happening. You know, when I initially swore off social media, bro, it was right after I got my TikTok account banned.
Right.
And that's because I was sounding a lot like everybody is now, but back in 2018, 2019.
Okay.
Which was way, way, way out of pocket back then.
Right.
You know, Kanye wasn't even on that shit back then. So, you know, it was foreseeable that I would get my shit yoinked. And when I did, I was like, man, fuck social media. I'm just going to work on building my business. Fuck all that other shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there were a few things that happened during the course of 2021 where I was like, it's swinging back in my direction. And I've been observing that for some time now. But at the time that I came to that revelation, I didn't see it as something that was being contrived. As time went on, I started to see more and more evidence that this was on purpose. This wasn't no grassroots swing back.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided, let me jump back on this bitch and kind of just give people that heads up, like what you think might be the worm turning in your favor may not be. Pay attention. And so this dude is just another symptom of a long line of shit that I've been seeing since, like I said, Kanye West, who kind of kicked this thing off, of a swing back in that direction. And I'm not talking about his views on the people.
Right.
I'm talking about his views as far as being, let's dig out and weed out this corruption and this chaos That mentality is what I'm talking about. His views on the people is just how he tempered that message.
Correct. Do you trust him?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't. I think he's part of the mechanism. You can always tell when something's grassroots, and you can tell when something's part of the mechanism. And this dude is part of the mechanism. You know, he got his little fucking notoriety amongst the people who are applauding him now by saying leftards and all the little key buzzwords and shit, albeit in Spanish. But that's where he got his little fucking fame from with these people. That's where he got his notoriety, and then of course he wins. So now they know who the name. They ain't been paying attention to him since that video dropped with him and the reporter.
Mm-hmm.
But now they remembered him. And now that he's got a win, to me it looks like it's engineered that we gotta win. That type shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got a report I just pulled up on the screen while you were talking. It reminded me of this. This swing to the right. Even CNN has swung on the Israel-Palestine situation. And, they're now reporting on, you heard about the helicopter?
Yeah.
During the festival, and said Israel fired on its own citizens?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so CNN covered this, and then now CNN is here saying extreme speech from Israeli cabinet members inflames tensions. Now, we do remember when Hotep Jesus said Palestine's new BLM, and you're going to watch that swing over there, right? And people said, well, the media is not going to follow. Well, now we have CNN following. Another Hotep's been told you moment.
Right. What made them think that they wouldn't when they got that new owner? I knew when they got that new owner, the swing was on.
Because people say the Jewish cartel runs the media, so they figured the Jewish cartel would side with Israel.
That's because they don't understand exactly how that shit works. Now, don't they?
If you follow the helicopter story, it should be prevalent now how that shit works.
Bro, let me tell you something. I mean, and I don't know if I'm out of bounds by saying this. It's nothing that's going to get anybody banned or nothing, but it's pretty controversial.
Okay.
The current iteration of Israel with Netanyahu and all this evil press that they're getting, and plus the Star and all this shit that I was pointing out last time we talked.
Mm-hmm.
This current iteration of those people are going to be consumed. They are going to be consumed. And I mean in such a significant way as to make what Hitler did look like child's play.
Nailed it.
Oh, it's just going to be one of them things, man, because the actual motherfucking shit, it needs its room to breathe now. It needs its room to breathe. The actual shit is not about fornication and not about all that subversive shit that people like to put on those people.
Right.
Nah. The actual shit is very stomped down. They make Muslims look soft. So that's what has to be able to get room to breathe now. This is why the swing back to the right, because the Christians are going to be the ones that help usher that in. So,
well, yeah. So the Christian right, or what they call Christian nationalists, and then also anti-Semitism, helping bring this new wave in.
Yeah. And the sad part about it is the actual God-fearing, observant Jews, the actual ones. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about no hidden shit either. So anybody listen, I'm not talking about like niggas. You know what I mean? I'm talking about just anybody who's actually subscribed to that way of life. They are going to be collateral damage in all this shit. They are going to be collateral damage. And same with the fucking actual, practicing by the book Christians. They're going to be collateral damage in this shit too. This is what the Revelations calls to as the beast that eats the whore. We're at the beginning of the whore being consumed, and the beast is going to look like, oh yeah, this is the new way. This is the new thing for humanity. This is the ushering in of the age of Aquarius and all that other great shit. But it's going to be far worse. So you've been warned.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the confidence.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. Hotep and Bill.
Hotep and Bill. Hold on, let's get Strong Dad in. Get Strong Dad in here, pause. AJ, what do you have on your screen right now? The CNN thing, right?
Israeli citizen Gil Dickman tweeted to Minister Ben-Gvir, quote, Itamar, I'm begging. My cousin is now in the hands of Hamas. He's kidnapped his cousin. Your words about the dark...
Hey, Strong Dad, call in. Strong Dad, go ahead, call in.
Dungeon, the hole in the floor, the handcuffs, and the humiliation put her in real danger. Your every tweet is a match that burns the heart.
Strong Dad on the line. What up, Strong Dad?
What's happening, y'all?
What's good? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday, y'all. Hope y'all got your leg day in. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, really, I wanted to talk about this shift to the right thing.
Okay.
And what my opinion is on this. I think that this is a time bomb. It's something that's going to explode in our direction. The reason I believe what's really happening is
when you say our direction, who's our?
Not necessarily ours, as in like myself and yourself, but those of us who would be considered on the right side of quote unquote history.
Okay.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
I feel like what they're doing is the same thing they did with the left over these past few years.
Correct.
I feel like over these past few seasons,
yes,
is that they're filling up the party with people who are so easily manipulated that you can walk them into opinions that go completely against what the rest of the public is willing to accept or what's morally just or, anything like that can be out there. I think they're trying to fill the party with people like that the same way they filled, like when people from the left slowly trickled to the right and became like MAGA people, these people cheapened the entire, idea of MAGA and cheapened, essentially that movement.
Yeah.
And so I feel like what they're doing is they see this is the formula to, one, to, get sweeping legislation under people's noses because it's the best formula to distract people. But two, this is the best way to play a long game to completely dismantle maybe a party or parties in general, is to essentially just stack the card with all of these jokers so that, when the dust has settled and everything is, quote unquote, okay and seemingly fine, then these time bombs inside of the party, and not just the party, but the social idea of being, on the right itself, they eventually just kind of dismantles everything from the inside out. Just a bunch of insurgents, really. That's kind of what I think is happening because, like I said, and you've talked about this, I think like last year, the year before in the past about watching all of these people move right from left and how they kind of brought down the IQ, of these areas where the right could have won. And so really that's kind of what I think is going on right now. I think they're just, prepping us for the complete dismantling of the political system by, like these rolling hills of disgust, this Obama, then for the left Trump, and then for the left Trump, and then for the right Biden, and all of these sweeping letdowns are going to, walk us right into a complete one world, situation, not just with the currency. Because also even all of this stuff coincides with the currency shift. You have so many people talking about what is or isn't happening, could or couldn't happen with the dollar. And that's making it so hard for anyone who's, just taking a cursory look to navigate it. And so they end up in one camp with no knowledge that the camp they're in is, to their detriment, and not to their, to their benefit. So that's kind of how I see that things are moving along right now.
No, it's a great observation. I agree. So it's just for me, I want to dive back into history. The issue is I don't remember what book I was reading at the time. I want to say it was that Dolph book that was talking about this swing to the right, but it might have been another book. But I want to go back into some previous literature I read where it shows this swing to the right internationally, pretty much, and see what the parallels are to see where we're going, because it leftism was bad and is bad, right? But what does extreme right wing look like?
Exactly.
And then what does the country look like when you have extreme or radical left wingism with radical rightism? This is what could turn into skirmishes and clashes and create an even bigger divide, because it's like on one side you gave tremendous power to the left, but that was kind of imbalanced and it wasn't a fair fight. Now they're swinging and they're giving the right more power, and this makes for a better fight. So it could create a situation where there is much bigger divide in the country. I'm not really sure where we're going.
Yeah, this is a crazy time to be a part of. To be my age in this time is, I feel like I'm right where I need to be from, to experience all.
You're witnessing a lot of history right now. You're living it.
I mean, just watching the a lot of the fringe left become what they would call anti-Semitic. Watching them become, not even what they would call, just watching them actually become all-out anti-Semitic. It just feels like they're trying to inch left-leaning, like left-brain thinkers into the sphere, and then they're gonna topple the whole thing over. Say not only do we got CBDC, but now we have one world police, one world government, X, Y. All the things that you knew were coming are here.
I saw something where they said millennials were converting to Islam.
Yes, I've been. Oh my gosh, man, it's so crazy because I know a lot of people, a lot of millennials who have made that conversion or something like it. Just anything that can be ultra traditional.
I thought this was quite fascinating. This came out of Daily Mail. I don't know how serious we can take it, but they got this young white woman here, assuming she's white, wearing a hijab. She's got the hijab on, and sharing this through her TikTok journey. So I believe it was last week we were talking about Islam versus Judaism and Christianity, and I was talking about how Islam is, rising. Yeah, that's what it was. I was talking about Islam rising in power, and now it seems like it says Alex, who has begun covering her hair with the hijab in line with Islamic teachings on modesty, says she has began attending pro-Palestine marches after the October 7 terror attacks. It's day 3 of wearing a hijab. So all of this is just because, what's weird for me is because when I said BLM is the new PLM, I started just thinking about all the different ways in which the left would pivot. And I couldn't come up with them all because this is just unprecedented times. And seeing them rock the hijab is something that I did not predict, did not expect. That definitely caught me off guard. It is not a Hotep's Been Told You moment. It's really, really weird to me seeing these people rock the hijab. And where are we going with this? What does this all mean? I don't know.
Especially because they were the ones championing getting rid of it.
Right.
Didn't they start that movement to free them from the hijab and all that?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't.
Seems like more
I don't
affirmation of the hard right. More of this swing to the right.
You're gonna have I feel like nothing that I'm seeing is showing a glimmer of hope for what we're actually trying to get.
Yeah.
It's making it look. It just looks more 1984-esque every rollout of something new. All of these. I don't know, man. I'm just waiting.
We're gonna see. I'm gonna play some of these TikToks now, see what the hell's going on.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Much love to the chat. Hotep and Bill.
All right, Hotep and Bill. Hold on. I'm trying to go in order here. So let's play this video.
Guess what, TikTok? I got 2 phones. You're gonna have to ban my IP address if you want to stop me. Anyway, peace and love. I will share more information at a more appropriate time. I'm going to continue advocating. I just wanted to share that my dream has come true. I am Muslim, and thank you to everybody that took part in that. Most importantly, Allah. Peace and blessings be upon him, and thank you guys so much for watching my video. Love you. Goodbye.
It's allowed. Divorce is allowed in the Islamic religion. Or Islam religion. And it was saying how if you're a woman and you get divorced, you have to wait 3 periods. I don't know how long a period is, but you have to wait 3 periods and then you're okay to remarry, girl. Like, go find your husband. And it was saying if you're a dude and you divorce your wife and you haven't touched her yet, but you promised her a dowry, you still got to pay half that shit. I was like, feminism. And then there was
Did she just find feminism in Islam?
Part in there that I was surprised about. I don't know why I thought it was going to be like the Christian religion where if somebody slaps you, you got to offer your other cheek and everything, because that always bothered me. Like, I'm like, if somebody slaps me, I should be able to slap them back. In the Quran, it says if somebody fights you, you fight them back. You like, if whatever they do to you, you do to them. And I was like, absolutely. So far, it's been a time.
People are now discovering Islam and the greatness of Islam. We saw this. She's doing it like it's an outfit. Like it's an outfit of the day video. Cobra Tate, Andrew Tate, Sneeko, all these guys moving over to Islam. And in some ways I feel responsible because years ago, I came up with the slogan, hijab summer. And I was telling people, let's convert to Islam. And it was mostly a joke. I called it Megan Sharia. So watching this play out, I'm like, ugh, this is not exactly what I had intended. So just very, very strange. 210, go ahead, call in. 210, go ahead, call in. Who is this? Oh, that's Tari. Tari, you got the green light. Damn, a bunch of calls are here. Let's I'll try to work through the phone calls. Tari and whoever 210 is, go ahead, call in. Make sure y'all type Hotep in your name so I know who's calling in. Said it's got to be fake. Could be. Strong Dad Protocol, the prophet done told you. Appreciate the super chat. Retro Neon, $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Got that gold color on this super chat. I appreciate you. $ Hotep Jesus if you want to bless me on Cash App. Bitcoin is preferred, but cash is also always accepted and appreciated. Retro Neon, he said, I think extreme or radical far rightism is anarchy, but I might be wrong. I'll say this. Some Christian nationalists are keeping their heads down through this whole mess. It's much too, Jerome said, you ruined Islam, HJ. Well done. Damn it. Damn it. I hate when I predict some shit or feels like I made some shit come about and I'm responsible for it. I hate when that happens. Let's get Steph in here. These guys aren't responding. Steph, go ahead, call in. Let's talk to Steph. Steph Colonel, go ahead, call in. Let's get Steph in here. He's next in line. Let's find out what's going on. I really want to get you guys' opinions on this swing to the right. Like, I want to celebrate it, but it's just like, my Hotep senses is tingling. And it's going to come about when somebody's a little bit out of the deep state. Yeah, I agree, Chad. I'm looking at Chad's response in the Men of Order team chat. I agree, Chad. It's very interesting. They always pull those weird stories out when somebody's winning. Who is this?
Call from
Steph, what up, bro?
Yo, what up? How's it going?
I'm good. What's up, man? Happy Monday, man. Welcome.
Hey, man, happy Monday. Hey, listen, I think, you and Goldstein has usually just been on point about this, I guess, all of a sudden push to the right wing, or I guess, quote, I don't know if it's necessarily has risen to the level of infiltration yet, but, it's I feel like, it could come under the guise of, you have to, for lack of a better term, you have like an inorganic walk-away movement where you have all these people that were really going hard, like in 2016 and 2020 for, the left and Biden and Hillary and stuff like that. Now all of a sudden they see the error of their ways, and now they want to come to where they think the winning team is, and it's just like, don't give them no quarter. Just listen. When you already seen Michael Rappaport's bitch ass and try to come over there with that video that he put out the other day, especially all the shit that that dude's talking. Now he calls himself on the edge talking about voting for Trump and whatnot. And where I'm at, like in 2020, the people that I'm around, they didn't really fuck with Trump, but they weren't like sold with Biden either. They was like, we not fucking with Biden, but it's still fuck Trump. We not fucking with Biden though. But so like those type of people, if they decided to come over, I'm not mad at them, because at least when it counted, they said, yo, we still not fucking with the bullshit. So at least they saw something.
Yeah.
At least something clicked in the head to the point where they saw something.
Yeah.
But and also I think the biggest part of what Cardi B said is just a confirmation that these people, her support effectively is not organic, because if you heard what she said, don't nobody better call me, text, email me, whatever, about no endorsing no president. So she's literally saying nobody better call her about anything. So that should tell you right there that support was never organic to begin with. That support was bought.
It was bought, correct.
She got the DM from one of the DNC homies and whatnot, and that was just that. So or somebody that might have been down with the DNC, but somewhere in touch inside the music business or something like that. So yeah, man. But like I said, you always keep the eyes open, keep the eyes up front, because how I am, like I said, I don't want nobody. I don't want nobody in this space that wasn't organic to begin with. And
So basically, what you're saying is Grift is coming to the right.
Pretty much, yeah.
And we should not roll out the red carpet for him.
Right.
I think there's a little bit of nuance here where, if they come to the right, they need not so much adoration. They shouldn't be boosted as like the new hero. And they need education. They need education if they are going to receive any adoration from us. But I think education is important, but boosting them as like the next big hero is going to be a big issue, because these people aren't equipped to carry the conversations that need to be had when it comes down to it.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, man, appreciate that insight, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you, man. Hotep and Bill, man.
Hotep and Bill. He's right. You're gonna get a lot of grifters coming on over. You gonna get them. You gonna get them. Phone lines are hot. I'ma just, if I text you, call in, and then we'll get you in order. We need real conservatives, not grifters. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you just like woke up yesterday, you gotta go to the back of the line. If you just woke up yesterday and got red pilled, you gotta go to the back of the line, bro. You gotta go to the back of the line because you've been asleep for so long. You don't deserve, we can welcome you. Say, hey, good job. Now get in the back of the line, you noob. Like, you don't get a warm welcome when you're a gamer, right? If you log on to the Modern Warfare lobby and you're trash, you're going to get booted from the team. Get your weight up. Get your stain up. Get your stats up. Get your KD up. But on the right is so desperate for allies that they welcome in the noobs and then wonder why the noobs don't represent them properly, or like you're saying now with Candace Owens. Everybody's upset because she's not in lockstep with Israel and all of that. Yo, Jonah, what's up, man?
What's good? My voice is all fucked up, though.
Yeah, probation period, absolutely. What you got for us today, man?
Man, I told you a bunch of times, if you're left or right, you're left wing.
If you're left or right, you're left wing.
Yeah, the whole concept of left or right comes from the Jacobins, right? Which is just another offshoot of these Jesuits, these Babylonians. So they set this up in the French Revolution. You're left or right. They set you. What they do is set you in a paradigm, right? It's the two dialectics. So no matter what we're discussing, and then these controllers use it every single time. No matter what we're discussing, they always give you two parameters. You're allowed to talk whatever you want as long as you're in those two parameters, right? So, and the whole thing, like right wing, like their concept of this left right wing makes no sense, because how is Hitler a socialist, which is a collectivist, a right winger? He's not. You're fucking retarded. Like originally it was the collectivism versus individualism, but again too, it's the Jacobins, which is again too just the Jesuits, or the Illuminati, or all these organizations, the Freemasons. And on top of that, why do you keep calling Israel Jewish? There's a Freemason Eye of Providence and pyramid on top of their Supreme Court. Well, so why would that make them Jewish? That makes them Freemason to me. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I definitely agree.
And I've already showed you before that like 30% of all their immigration is from Soviets. So
you said they learned it from the Soviets?
No, I said 30% of all their immigration comes from Soviet Union.
Oh, okay.
But so again, too, they were more allies with the Soviets all the way through the Cold War. Putin's friends with Putin's real close with Netanyahu, so they're all of them Freemasons, anyways. But I mean, all the way through, they align with the Soviets or Russia over at the USA. So why does USA still accept them as some other thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go get some water,
then
man.
Then again, you got Jimmy Raskin in there, right? So
yeah.
And that's you like the one about his father, the Fabian Society. Yeah. Anyway, no, my voice is all fucked. I killed that demon, I think so, but it's all good.
Hi, your dog still glowing from the inside out?
No, that's all of the demon. I'm telling you, as soon as I started blowing myself, he started blowing, so it's all good, man.
Oh, okay. All right, say less, man.
None of it makes sense. It doesn't have to because it's real,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Dizzler's trying to call in. Dizzler, go ahead, call in. Let's talk to Dizzler, see what he got to say. Yeah, Jonah over there dying and shit. Jack Reed said Jonah need a cigarette. What up, Wilmar? What up, Montoya? They had pictures of Stalin at the Israel founding. Oh, wow. People arguing about George Floyd today. That's a great reboot, right? Like, I think. So, how did the George Floyd situation come back up? I know Kyle Rittenhouse, this is his anniversary. So, I guess George Floyd popped up because people were talking about Rittenhouse. So, they compare those two. I don't know. I guess that's what y'all arguing with strangers about today. Couple of has-beens.
Call from
Dizzler, what up, man?
Yo, what's good, Hotep Jesus?
What's good with him? What you got on your mind today? Happy Monday and all of that.
Yeah, man, happy Monday. Now I'm gonna start off real quick with that little, back whipping on the Quran, because we all know the Quran, that could definitely lead to domestic violence. It has it in their book. You know what I'm saying? You can strike women if they're disobedient. That is not a good look in today's time, because you know where that will go, where the government will help the lady up and down, they're done. I mean, listen, it's not that crazy. Just read the Bible. You don't have to be religious and Christian, none of that. Because that Christian, when we do our history on that, and we see where that was manipulated, sampled in with Rome and all that, you know how that goes. You know what I'm saying? It's just the Bible, man. They just keep it straight up and simple. But I wanted to touch upon the Cardi B joint. And I think Goldstein was saying, like, like one of those agents or whatever. And probably, I mean, listen, when you getting all those riches, you get the Happy Meal from the how do you call it? The music biz and all that. You have to give something back, and that's why they lined up right there with Joe Biden. When you saw that, that was the ultimate slap in the face. We all know that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But she's like a broken clock. She at least gonna be right twice a day.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of things that she's done that you could be like, oh, she's getting out of line. You could tell. One of them was when those celebrity females, they go to Dubai, and allegedly there's a lot of crazy thing that goes down there. She got drunk and she did a live and she deleted it. She was just exposing like all these rich people and kind of talking about like, hinting at that. Remember, Rihanna was with a powerful dude in Dubai.
Yeah.
They took pictures and all that. So you just don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
Now, I do think that she steers off and somebody tells her, but you do have celebrities that kind of want to say something. You have celebrities that don't want that lifestyle, but what happens? They say the truth. Well, we going to pay their bills? We ain't paying their bills. So now what happens? They broke. Good thing for Kanye. They would, the bagel boys extorted him to his knees. But guess what? He still had $475 million. They were like, damn, yo. Hey, yo, Kim Kardashian, make sure he don't see his kids. Let's get him crazier. You know what I'm saying? And like, what happens with, like, for example, a mill? Word around back then was like she was working at Target or Walmart, and that was the joke of the town. Why? Because, what I'm gonna say, I'm probably gonna be wrong. You from the Caribbean, but I feel like with people from the Caribbean or whatever, they come here, blacks, Hispanic, whatever, we have a stronger culture. The people here, they don't. You have one of your own people come and get broke and back on the streets, we're gonna make fun of you. We ain't gonna support you. Be like, yo, you know what? You spoke the truth. Calm down, man. It ain't worth it.
Right.
Let's support you.
Right.
That's not gonna happen.
Correct.
So because that's gonna happen, you're gonna have people selling out left and right. It only makes sense.
Yeah.
We need to have a stronger culture here. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. And look how the hip hop thing is all just sloppy. Look what happened with P. Diddy. Regardless of what happened, we know that Joe Budden's not going to speak on that. That's where his bread gets buttered. Now, if that was Kanye West,
oh yeah,
Joe Budden would have went ham.
Hamburger.
And we all know that.
Yeah.
We all know that.
And the
so
Breakfast
it's
Club
just
too.
sad. Of course, everybody. But that's what they do. They make sure they make a deal like, hey, I'm Puff Daddy. Yo, you got that nice company? Yo, can I advertise my bottle? And that's how it starts. So now when something like that happens, you know what I'm saying? Everybody got to stay sharp. Everybody passing the ball. You seen the clip on the podcast? Everybody was passing the ball to each other. It was like the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
I was like, yo.
You talk about it. No, you talk about it. No, you talk about it. No, you talk about
Yeah.
it. Hey, Joe, the people want you to talk about it. Then Joe's
That's why,
like, I don't need to talk about it.
No, he says, ask me about my kids and my. I'm like, Joe Budden, are you serious?
Yeah.
When it came to the Tory Lanez, the R. Kelly, he was going indefinite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I like that it's happening because everybody that says they have a podcast and I give it up and yada yada is all a lie.
Yeah.
And the truth comes out eventually.
Yeah. Hey, appreciate that, man.
Have a good one.
All right, what's up, Bill? Shout out to Dizzle on the check-in. If I texted you, you could call in now. He says, new doc, Chauvin's appeal rejected by Supreme Court. Okay. So that is new. Okay. Because I wasn't sure if the Rittenhouse thing came up and then they talked about the appeal, or if Chauvin's being talked about because of the appeal. So, okay, so Chauvin's being talked about because the appeal was rejected by the Supreme Court. Okay. That makes sense. Again, people arguing about a bunch of has-beens and nobodies. And I got to be honest with you. I don't feel bad for Chauvin. And I don't feel bad for Chauvin not because of what he did or didn't do in regards to George Floyd, but because I think he had that coming to him. If you go look at, the type of business he was involved in with George Floyd prior to that, the dude might be a criminal.
Nero.
Hey, Nero, what's up, man?
What's cracking, cuz? How you doing, man?
I'm good. How you?
Not too bad. Just paying attention to what the fuck is going on in the world. It's a crazy world, man.
Crazy world we live in.
Crazy world. But guess what? You crazy if you sane in this bitch, so shit, who's really crazy?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But shit, what the fuck I was about? Man, shout out to you. Keep it down. Keep your foot on these motherfuckers' necks, left and right. Keep both feet on these nigga heads.
Absolutely. Got to.
You killing them. But, this swing to the right and the Islam thing, it might not be bad because you might, as above, so below. So since we came from the left and now we're swinging to the right is more logical and more confirmation based, at least when it comes to researching what you talk about. Once you get up in that field, like when you're on TV and stuff, it's really hard to pay attention to everything. But the mindset of the right is more study based, more information based, which is good because once we start seeing the resurgence of all these topics like Islam and Osama bin Laden, they also might figure out like, oh, look at the original conscious movement when motherfuckers came out of Jesus all them years out of slavery and came into Islam, the Malcolm X's, the Elijah Muhammad, they get into not the Islam of the religion, but the I, self, Lord, and Master part, you know what I'm saying? So you never know where it could go. So, it might backfire, especially with the right, you know what I'm saying, inserting a thought, you feel me? So it might not all be bad.
One thing, I just want to add some nuance to what you said about the right being more information-based. Your sentiment is correct. In application on social media, the opposite seems to be the truth. It seems like the left usually comes with more information than the right, although the left comes with garbage information. When I look at the right, and I'm specifically talking about the grifters, right? We're talking about the grifter class here. The grifter class on the right doesn't have any credentials, right? And I hate credentialed people, but they don't have any credentials, and they don't have credentials not only from the establishment but from their own work. It's a bunch of teenagers who got famous because they say things really cool, right?
Oh yeah.
Or they just post videos. They're shock jocks, right? So it seems like there's a whole bunch of shock jocks on the right, whereas the left is more driven by politicians and media types, et cetera, et cetera. So there's not much intellectualism happening on the right that I've seen. Which is why Alex Jones said what he said, like, I wish everybody was smart as Hotep Jesus, because we just don't see much intellectualism coming from the right. Now, you made a good point, though, in regards to the shift. But it had me thinking, right? And this is a working thought here. But is it good? Because the shift to the right may mean, and this is a new concept for me, so I'm still collecting my thoughts on this, but the shift to the right could end up in a situation where we have an increase in insurgents, but a decrease in rebellion. So where we had pacification, right? So where we had the left, and this is like I used this example before with the black community. Now, you know, with the left becoming so strong, it bolstered the right. It made the right strong. So now where the right is becoming stronger and they're becoming more intellectual, now is a great time to shift and again lull them to sleep and sort of quell that rebellion where they become less rebellious so that things in the background can move accordingly, like the CBDC system. So,
I can see that.
So it's going to come with its gifts and it's going to come with its curses.
As everything does, nothing is good or bad. But I probably shouldn't have said information-based. I should say logic-based, where you know,
less emotions.
It's more based on putting facts together and not relying on emotions.
Yeah,
or
I understood
what
that.
you feel and think. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understood that sentiment from you.
But
no, I know what you meant though, and it does make sense, and you're right about that. Yeah, they definitely, the right seems to use more logic than emotions.
No, fact. But, you know what I'm saying? Nothing is good or bad. And, you know what I'm saying?
That seems to be shifting too, because that's my issue. It's like the right was known for being so logical, but just within the past year, they've become so emotional, right? And that's where we're having this swap that's happening.
And then they swing it and then get in with the emotions where they can and freaking cause turmoil and whatnot within the inside.
Because, I mean, just looking at how they flip-flopped on war when the Middle East conflict came up, you know, how they went from, hey, don't be a victim to, wait, we're a victim of the black community, right? Like, and it's just like so fast they became the left. And I'm like, this is the stuff you was mad at the left about, and now you over here crying about racism against white people. I'm like, yo, you told us that you weren't supposed to act like that. So
but also, here's a thought as well. The switch to the right and the infiltration will also let you know who was what to begin with and posing, you know what I'm saying, while it was on the left. Because, you know what I'm saying, they play both sides in three different dimensions at the same time. You got the people who are on the left and who are really right. You got the people on the right who are really left, waiting on the right to put its guard down so it can whittle its way in. And then you have the people on the left who are going to come right and see where they can infiltrate. And then wherever there's barriers for them, the people who are already sleeping in the right, who are really left, are going to usher them in. So you see a lot of people on the right. You'll be like, wait, why is he supporting this guy now? Wasn't he just left? And then now he gets let into the fold somehow, and then shit starts going wonky. You know how it is. I'm not very politically savvy, but I know how people work. I know how groups work. I know how the government works. know your enemy, man. Sun Tzu. Study your enemy, son.
Absolutely.
And I was in the, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's all I had to say, man.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Just some thoughts, bro. All right, man.
Hey, Tari, come get some of this. Pause. Tari, call in, man. Talk to Tari. See what Tari got to say. How Joseph Stalin helped create the state of Israel. Oh, man. Here we go. Bookmark it. I'll save that. Save that for a later date. See if I find anything interesting in there. It's bookmark on the desktop, so when I get to it, I'll get to it. These days, I try not to get distracted, right? The war is a huge distraction, and I want to stay in my lane of banking. So I spend more time studying this banking. I don't want them to allow me to deviate my studies to move over into trying to understand the Middle East, because my understanding of the Middle East is substantial enough for my own personal goals.
Call from.
Sorry, what's up, man?
What up?
What's good with him?
Shit. So I was slightly excited about, you know, the new president I don't live in Argentina though, so I was like, I don't really give a fuck about it. Congratulations for them. I heard, I got what you were saying immediately though, because I hadn't even when I realized they said he wanted to switch the peso for the dollar, and then I saw your tweet about they don't know that they just giving their country over to the Federal Reserve. I was like, I hadn't even thought about it like that. And it's always Hotep always got something different way of looking at it than me.
Well, I mean, I ran into information on Milei in the past, so I was just adding two and two together.
Oh, I see. Yeah, see, I hadn't seen him at all. I was just like, oh wow, like, because it's one thing to get I guess a right wing conservative in there. It's a whole other thing to get like a libertarian kind of candidate, at least for me, wherever it is, But like I think when it happened in El Salvador, I was like, oh shit, okay. But you never know what they're gonna do, So when you look at a lot of these ideologies, people don't even really think it's gonna ever gain any popularity here for a reason.
Yeah.
So if it does gain popularity, you gotta kind of raise your eyebrow a bit, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta be a little cautious.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, they like the co-op movement and shit. They definitely like to do that. And an interesting thing, I saw something somebody else said. They said he probably gonna be out of there in 6 months. I think I added you in that one. They said he's gonna be out of there in 6 months. I was like, is this you think that's fake news or not?
Yes.
Fake news? Or you think he is?
I don't think he'll be out of there in 6 months. I think that's just black pill thought. Like, this guy is so great that he's going to be ousted. That's from a mindset of you don't believe he's a plant. You don't believe he's a World Economic Forum agent, right? That's what that is
I
about.
looked at it the other way. I was looking at it the other way. Like,
okay.
He's going to get in. He's not going to do none of the shit that he said he was going to do. And they might fuck around and get him the fuck out of there real quick. No, it might not happen.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
Well, again, that's assuming that he's on the up and up, right? But I don't think the Argentinian people have the intellectual power to see if he's on the up and up, because he said he's going to dollarize the economy, and they elected that. So just because he gets rid of their central banks, and because at the end of the day, they just want better for their money, right? So a dollar is going to be better for their money. But if they swap them for the dollar in 6 months, will they feel that? They might not feel that until year 3, year 2. That's why now 6 months might coincide with the macroeconomist who said that we're headed for a banking crash in 2024. So that's closer to a 6-month outlook. And maybe that banking crisis might affect Argentina if they do take on the dollar. And then they're like, wait, hold on, what is this? But again, that was in line with his promises to move to the dollar. So, yeah, and some of his other promises were kind of just woo, lip service. But at the end of the day, the people are just tired of being poor. And if they bring in a dollar, it's certainly going to help them, at least in the short term. So I don't see him being ousted in 6 months. I don't think the people are intellectual enough to see that, because they elected him after he said he's going to dollarize their economy.
That's a good point. Yeah. And also, in line with what that other caller was saying, you were talking about the shift happening.
Mm-hmm.
And you were saying the right has become a lot more emotional.
Yeah.
I think it's because even though, the right is more logical at the end of the day, a lot of logic that we use is kind of intuitive logic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a level of, emotion to that, but it's more kind of maybe directing those emotions in a wise way, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
And I think the right just has more wisdom, right? You know how they say, they typically tend to be older, right? It's and if it is younger people, it's probably younger people who grew up with, both their mom and their dad, maybe with their grandma, around somebody older that they learned from, right? Had good role models and things like that. So a lot of what we seeing probably is like them being emotional is, well, one, you got a lot of them are, like you said, young people who just got big because they were saying stuff. They're not very well studied yet necessarily, right? But they kind of have the right sense on things intuitively, right? Even from their religious stance, because a lot of it may sound crazy to some people, but a lot of religion is emotional. A lot of it is, spiritual. It's not, you're not using, I think your left brain all the time with religion, right? So when you have that kind of worldview, you're going to have a certain amount of that, you got to take on faith, which is going to, necessarily involve, a certain amount of emotion, a certain amount of, getting your mind out of the way, even if it's not always the right thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the Israel-Palestine conflict is the perfect example of that, right? Because the people that they would call Zionists, at the end of the day, most of them were just Christians, right? And they see Israel in a certain light. So a lot of the conservative Christians are like, well, Israel, this is their home, regardless of the history and all the other stuff. They don't care. They're not looking at no two sides. They're just like, this is Israel. This is what we believe. So some of them might be able to take themselves out of that, but a decent amount of them are going to be stuck in that area. The only way to really move them would be to probably appeal to that, find a way to appeal to that emotion. Well, really, you're appealing, their religious sentiment,
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you were saying that bringing, the conversion a lot of people have into Islam and stuff. A lot of that, the exact reason for that.
Yeah. Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, appreciate the call, bro.
Yeah, man.
All right, Hotep and Bill. Who was that? Somebody just texted me. They said, it's getting late. I'll bounce. I just wanted to say the next banking crash will happen when the banksters decide the government is stupid enough to give them more money. Yeah, I guess you're right. Uncle Hotep said, I can't believe they took Kevin Samuels away from us and gave us Andrew Tate. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another wonderful broadcast brought to you by the Grift God.
Hotep Jesus.
Patreon.com/Hotep's Been Told You. Hotep's Been Told You 2.0 tonight with Uncle Hotep. Tune in around 10 p.m. We'll send a live link out for all of our people on the Patreon. The live link will go out. We'll be broadcasting, talking to Uncle Hotep. We got a lot to cover tonight, so make sure y'all check that out. Patreon.com/Hotep's Been Told You. Excuse me. And I'll see you tonight for that. If not, tomorrow, Grift Report, 2 p.m. And y'all have a good day. Hotep and Bill.
Yeah, I can try to get that handled for you. Again, it's only my second day, so if you can give me a second. How I'm supposed to do this? How the hell are we supposed to do this by 5 o'clock?
I have no clue.
Is that possible? Hey, do you have the password to... How'd you finish all your work already?
He's not tapped in. How'd you get that done so quick?
They think they're gonna be able to budget that?
It's money. That's money right there. You understand? You guys finished your work 6 hours early?
He's not tapped in.